Well, what's going on, good people? We want to make sure before we start running our mouths about what we need to talk about, I'm going to have Uno check us out to make sure that we are live and that you can hear us because we had some technical difficulties, which we just love so much.
Yeah, so dearly.
Decided to try something a little different instead of showing face.
Yes.
So I want to welcome you to our weekly Chit Chat Chew Show podcast, which airs from 7 to 9 Eastern Time and 4 to 6 West Coast. Okay, so it looks like it's a go. I am Aisha, also known as Jade, which is my nickname. Most of you, I appreciate if you call me that, unless we family like that. And the other co host is.
Uno for the podcast. Everybody calls me Uno mostly. I mean, if you know me personally, Uno, but I you call me Uno.
Right,
Keep it simple.
exactly. Welcome to the Chit Chat Chew Show podcast. We have some great topics and discussions to talk about, and we're going to just jump right into it. Our first topic is talk about the being
Okay,
over
go ahead.
obesity. Growing trend, it seems like. And it's not about putting people down before anybody says anything stupid on here. It's about we need to do better. We need to change our mindsets. You don't have to spend a lot to eat healthy. Now, I'm not saying, excuse me, go vegetarian or vegan. It's your choice on what you do,
It's changed your eating
but
lifestyle.
changing your eating lifestyle, eating in moderation, getting out of that. Well, I grew up black, and so this is the way that I ate. Okay, that probably was the way that you ate, but we're speaking just here or into your body.
How about
So we just want to, the other topic we're talking about is
talk about whitewashing of black music across all genres? So this won't be a specific genre. It's all black.
join us here live. The replay is available. Again, if you have some comments, suggestions, any type of feedback that you would like to add on here, let us know that you can hear us so we know that it's still flowing right. If you have some comments, suggestions, any type of feedback that you'd like to add on here, make sure you leave it in the comment box. So let me just jump right into it now. So, the health risks of being overweight. Overweight and obesity may increase the risk of many health problems, including diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers. And if you are pregnant, excess weight may lead to short and long term health problems for you and your baby. So, this fact sheet tells you more about the links between excess weight and many health conditions. It also explains how reaching and maintaining a normal weight may help you and your loved ones stay healthier as you grow older. So, what are some kinds of health problems that are linked to overweight and obesity? Well, you could have type 2 diabetes, you may have high blood pressure, heart disease and strokes, certain types of cancer, apnea, um, fatty liver disease, kidney disease, pregnancy problems that are associated with high blood pressure, um, and increased risk for cesarean deliveries, a C section, and so many more. So, how can you tell if you weigh too much? Well, gaining a few pounds during the year may not seem like a big deal, but these pounds can add up over time. So how can you tell if your weight could increase your chances of developing health problems? Knowing two numbers may help you understand your risks. So the first would be your body mass index, which is BMI, and your waist size in inches. So the body mass index, which is the BMI, is one way to tell whether you are at a normal weight, are overweight, or you're obese. It measures your weight in relation to your weight and provides a score to place you in a category. So, for example, a normal weight with your normal BMI weight of 18.5 to 24.9. Your BMI for overweight of 25 to 29.9. And your BMI for obesity is 30 and higher. So another important number to know is your waist size in inches. Having too much fat around your waist may increase health risks even more than having fat in other parts of your body. Women with a waist size of more than 35 inches and men with a waist size of more than 40 inches may have higher chances of developing diseases related to obesity. Okay, so here's some quick numbers. So you, so there's a measure and a target. So the target BMI and the measure is target BMI. The target 18.5 to 24.9. Waist size for men less than 40 inches. For women is less than 35 inches. Your blood pressure should be the target of 120 over 80 or less. Then you have the LDL, which is bad cholesterol, which is the target is less than 100 milligrams. Then you have the HDL, which is good cholesterol. For the men, it should be more than 40 milligrams. For women, it should be more than 50 milligrams. Uh, Triglycerides. The target is less than 150 milligrams. And your blood sugar fasting should be less than 100 milligrams. So, what about if you have type 2 diabetes? So, what is it? What is type 2 diabetes? So, type 2 diabetes is a disease in which blood sugar levels are above normal. High blood sugar is a major cause of heart disease, kidney disease, stroke, amputations, and blindness. So, in 2009, diabetes was the seventh leading cause of death in the US. You hear that, guys? 2009, diabetes was the seventh leading cause of death in the United States. Type 2 diabetes is the most common type of diabetes. Family history and genes play a role. They include activity level, having poor diet, excess body weight around the waist. In the US, type 2 diabetes is more common among Blacks, Latinos, and American Indians than among whites. So, how is type 2 diabetes linked to overweight? So, more than 80% of adults with diabetes are overweight or obese. It isn't clear why people who are overweight are more likely to develop the disease. It may be that being overweight causes your cells to change, making them resistant to the hormone insulin. Insulin carries sugar from blood to the cells where it is used for energy. So when a person is insulin resistant, the blood sugar cannot be taken up by the cells, resulting in high blood sugar. And in addition, the cells that produce insulin must work extra hard to try to keep blood sugar normal. This may cause these cells to gradually fail. And I am type 2 diabetes, and I know there are times where I'm doing okay. And I went actually to the doctor for my sugar, and so my sugar is high. It's high and not where it used to be, like in the high 200s, but it's it's too high. Just too high for me and too high. It was just incorrect. Even my blood pressure, but I'm thinking some of it contributes to this abscess in my mouth, because that could raise some of your and your blood pressure. My blood pressure was a little too high. Again, and honest with myself, there are days like I say sugar is the devil. It can be so challenging, especially being in a workplace where people just constantly eat. That's all they do in my building. It seems like they constantly eat. And a lot of times it's unhealthy. And so though I know there's no one sticking shoving food in my mouth, I have the option to say yes or no. But I'm one of those, as I've said before, I am a compulsive eater, and I had to admit that I am a compulsive and an emotional eater, and I have been for a while. Even when I was at a good weight, I was a compulsive eater and was purging at one time. And so I'm trying to figure that out as far as, making sure that I incorporate eating more greens and eating fruit, but being careful of the fruit, because even the fruit having natural sugar, some of the fruit can be too high in sugar for me. So I have to be careful about the fruits that I eat, but definitely incorporating sugar, making better eating choices as far as what I eat. Um, Me and Uno, we've had this challenge for a while to not eat meat. And again, I'm really proud of Uno because she's done really good.
I didn't think I was gonna do it, to be honest with you.
I'm
I'm
doing
like,
I have, yeah, like I have periods where, and I've been transparent. Yeah, I've cheated sometimes and had some meat, but I have to be honest with myself, and I have to do better because I know it's my life. It's not her life,
but
it's my life.
it's just always a work in progress.
It is. It's definitely a work in progress.
And it's a reminder for you to just keep trying, keep working at it. It's progression. It's just human progression, and no one's perfect. It's not gonna happen overnight. You just got to keep at it.
So I have to remind myself, like I speak on here and do my Aisha Speaks Jade page, that I take, that I do good. I have to give myself, praise and a high five for it, and don't always be focusing on if I don't do so good.
Okay.
Say,
Good job.
thank you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
Pat you on the back too. So what's high blood pressure? And then I'll stop for a while and come back later. So high blood pressure is every time your heart beats, it pumps blood through your arteries to the rest of your body. Blood pressure is how hard your blood pushes against the walls of your arteries. High blood pressure, which is hypertension, another word, usually has no symptoms, but it may cause serious problems such as heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure. A blood pressure of 120 over 80, often referred to, like I just said, 120 over 80, is considered normal. If the top number is constantly 140 or higher, or the bottom number is 90 or higher, you are considered to have high blood pressure, which I have high blood pressure as well. So, how is high blood pressure linked to overweight? Um, It is linked to overweight and obesity in several ways. Having a large body size may increase blood pressure because your heart needs to pump harder to supply blood to all your cells. Excess fat may also damage your kidneys, which regulate blood pressure. I just want to stop right there, give you the opportunity to speak on it.
Okay, well, to intervene with your conversation and to also add to the conversation of obesity is, although adults suffer with obesity of all races, doesn't matter what background you come from, but children also suffer with childhood obesity, and that's another major problem in America, not just in America too, but all over. But it's I'm very prevalent in the United States of America. So I want to read something prevalence total number of cases in the pediatric population risen remarkably. In the 1970s and the 1980s, approximately 5% of children were obese. One second. All right, so geez, a long ass article. All right. While the frequency of obesity appears to be leveling off, the amount of excess weight has continued to rise. The Midwest and South have the highest frequency of obesity, 31%, with Arkansas, Mississippi, and West Virginia having the highest frequency, 36%, and Colorado having the lowest, 21%. Of the remaining states, 26 have an obese population of 25%. 18 states have over 30% of their population being obese. In 2000, no states had more than 30% of their population considered obese. As of 2014, no state had less than 20% of its adult population classified as obese. They have a section of what causes childhood obesity. I mean, it's pretty much obvious. I mean, from what Jade spoke about, I mean, it could be from, daily calories, the intake of how much calories you put in your body, the excessive intake of, just poor food. You know, the parents allow them to have food that's really bad choices, and it can result in obesity. It could be over ingestion of healthy foods, even bad foods. If you over ingest anything, whether that's good or bad foods, and you're not allowing your stomach to work, that stuff sits in your system and it develops into fat. So the simple biological fact is that all excess calories, regardless whether triple cheese meat lovers pizza versus free fat-free yogurt with berries, will be stored by the body and only as fat, as I just iterated. Let's see, anything else? Okay. If calorie restriction is the sole approach toward losing weight, the body's metabolism adopts a conservation mode and learns how to get by on fewer calories. And physical activity of excessive carbohydrate and fat stores allowing for more functional and long-term health. As I iterated in my own way, that yes, if you don't work and you just sit with that food in your system, no activity whatsoever, yes, that you're going to develop that fat, because where's all this food going to go if you're not working it? So body weight can come from genes. So it could be the gene pool, the genetics in your family, metabolism, behaviors, culture, and socioeconomic status. These are relatively infrequent causes of obesity, and they have more information of childhood obesity. They have the symptoms and signs. They have risk factors. Um, I wanted to touch a little bit on the risk factors. Now, I named the obvious ones, but they had one. They had actually four more. So you got diseases. That could be the thyroid. That could be the ovary, brain tumors. Someone who's they got mental retardation. I'm not gonna say that. I mean, they just have a mental inability. They have other conditions. They have medications, so medications can play a big part in obesity as well. You taking those chronic oral steroids, or antidepressants or other drugs that can contribute to obesity in children. Psychologically, that could play a part in obesity. Like, what if their lifestyle is stressful, so their emotions take over, and when their weight aggravates their emotions, that they go off the deep end, and they can eat a lot. That could be a factor. Or they're really just not allowing their body to work, and you put on weight. You can put on weight not doing nothing, actually. So that's a factor. And there's increase in frequency of some cancers. So it could be endometrial, breast, colon, kidney, gallbladder, and liver. Those are some causes of childhood obesity. Reasons like the risk of childhood obesity complications. So I know she touched on, diabetes and all, I'm sure some heart and stroke related risk, apnea. You said sleep apnea here. Irregularity, infertility, and few. So I mean, that's so much information, treatments, which I will get to after Jay read her article. But always mentions there's always obesity. I'm not gonna read any further. I think that's what we're saying. I will let Jay read the rest of the read.
um no, that's not where I wanted to go because I did that one. So how can you lose weight having high blood pressure? Well, weight loss that will get you close to the normal BMI range may greatly lower high blood pressure. Other helpful changes are, if you're a smoker, to eventually quit smoking, reduce your salt, or just don't use any at all. They do have other alternatives than using regular salt. Get regular physical activities, going out there doing some exercise, and you can start off small. However, for whatever reason, if lifestyle changes aren't enough, you may need to see a doctor to prescribe drugs to lower your blood pressure. Me personally, I do believe that all naturally be but I, have to keep it neutral that you do have angina, which is chest pain, or abnormal heart rhythm. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. Well, I didn't have a complete heart attack back in March, but I definitely had a serious heart heart attack scare. I caught myself, I felt some symptoms, and I took myself to the emergency and the doctor. And so I'm glad that really was a scare for
You
me.
could have went somewhere else.
Could have went way left
Right. Quickly.
quickly. So how is heart disease linked to being overweight? People who are overweight or obese often have health problems that may increase the risk for heart disease. These health problems include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. In addition, excess weight may cause changes to your heart that make it work harder to send blood to all the cells in your body. So, how can weight loss help? Losing 5 to 10% of your weight may lower the chances of developing heart disease. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, this means losing as little as 10. You don't have to do a dramatic thing and kind of go cold turkey because a lot of times going cold turkey makes situation worse for people. So
That's not a healthy way of
right,
losing weight at all.
exactly. So start off small, 10 as little as 10 pounds. Weight loss may improve your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, and the blood flow. So what is a stroke? Stroke happens when the flow of blood to the part of your brain stops, causing the brain cells to die. The most common type of stroke, called ischemic stroke, ischemic stroke, occurs when a blood clot blocks an artery that carries blood to the brain. And another type of stroke is called hemorrhage stroke. It happens when a blood vessel in the brain bursts. So, how are strokes linked to being overweight? Well, overweight and obesity are known to increase blood pressure, and high blood pressure is the leading cause of strokes. The excess weight also increases your chances of developing other problems linked to strokes, including high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and heart attacks. So you see how all of this that you have is kind of going in a repetitive circle: high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart attacks. It's all connecting. So how can weight loss help with this? Well, one of the most important things you can do to reduce your stroke risk is to keep your blood pressure under control and maintain it. Losing weight may help you lower your blood pressure. It may also improve your cholesterol and blood sugar, which may then lower the risk for a stroke. What is cancer if you happen not to know it? Cancer occurs when cells in one part of the body, such as the colon, grow abnormally or out of control. The cancerous cells sometimes spread to other parts of the body, such as the liver. We must have a healthy liver. Cancer is the second leading cause of death in the US. And I am having a num your ring K kill report because the older you get, you have to take certain tests to make sure that you're okay, for men and women. And so I have not shared it with social media. I've only shared it really with Umno. And I had to um, take a test for different strands to see if I had cancer. Well, I am cancer free today, and I'm just so grateful for that. But it takes work, and you have to do it because at any time you can give a wonderful report, but if you don't continue being consistent with it, with your diet and with your exercise and doing and your eating habits and doing what you need to do, it can come. It can come. It can happen. But as of today, I got the report last week, but I was cancer free based on the strands when they had to do a culture, several cultures on me. So I'm really um, fortunate and blessed with that. So how is cancer linked to being overweight? Gaining weight as an adult increases the risk for several cancers. Even if the weight gain doesn't result or obesity, it isn't known as overweight. It may release hormones that affect cell growth, leading to cancer. Eating or physical activity that may lead to being obese. So we just need to make sure that eating healthy and physical activity habits may lower the cancer. It's all about healthy eating again, exercising, making smart what in our bodies and start small. I mean, you don't, like me and Uno said, you don't have to start off like at some high level. Start at small to this. So, what kinds of cancers are linked to overweight and obesity? So, being overweight increases the risk of developing cancers, including after menopause, rectum, endometrium, the uterus, and
Oh, all right. Well, we'll make sure this is running smoothly.
give us a second.
Okay. So, all right. Well, Jade had a lot of wealthy information. Well, a lot that, well, really information you can apply to your life for those who suffer with obesity.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's yourself, family members, friends, whoever. Like you can surely use this information to start you on your journey to a healthy life. With that being said, ending that off like that, I do have an article coming from rapidhomememedies.com, and I will also read just a small tidbit from this website from cdc.gov, and maybe something from shhs.harvard.edu because I meant to the first article. That's why I'm saying three articles. 13 fast action remedies for obesity. You can have lemon juice and honey and water. That helps to increase your metabolic rate in very simple way, but just having lemon juice and honey mixed, excuse me, in a glass of water, it works fast. So you just have the water, which is 1 glass, lemon juice 2 teaspoons, honey 1 teaspoon. Add the lemon juice and honey to the water. You mix it, have it in the morning on an empty stomach, and you do it every day. Number two, try black pepper and lemon juice. I mean, lemon juice and honey is perfectly fine as a remedy, but if you include black pepper powder for additional boost to your body's metabolism, that is great. You just use lukewarm water, have teaspoons of lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of honey. And you add the pepper, lime juice, and honey. You mix it all together and you drink that once or twice every day. You have to continue this remedy for 2 to 3 months to see results. I want to put that out there. Number three, sip detoxifying tea throughout the day. When you are up to lose your weight, you not only have to keep your digestive system intact and break down all accumulated fat of your body, but also remove all the toxins from your body. When you get rid of the toxins, you allow all your body's systems function to their full capacity, including metabolism. So make this detox tea every day in the morning and sip it hot or warm throughout the day. You will need cumin seeds, which is a half teaspoon, coriander seeds, a half teaspoon, fennel seeds, a half teaspoon, 4 cups of water, and a thermos flask, which is one. The directions of how to do all this to make your detoxifying tea: in the morning, boil 4 cups of water, add cumin, coriander, and fennel seeds to the boiling water, allow it to boil for about 5 more minutes, then strain the tea and store it in a thermos flask. Now, have this tea in small amounts all through the day. It should be tolerably hot or at least warm when you have it. Now, it'll take some time to adjust, I'm sure, to your taste buds, because it seems like it ain't good at all. It looks like it ain't good. But they say the most nastiest stuff is the most best stuff for your health. So it's strong. I'm sure it's strong. So you start the detox regimen. You add the 1/4 teaspoon of each seed to your 4 cups of water. Wait for a result for about 2 weeks. And when you're used to the tea, you know, it'll take 2 weeks to get used to it. And then once you're used to the tea, then you make it a half teaspoon. So you do it in moderation, but you're just building up each time, far as mixing the seeds and drinking it and getting your taste buds adjusted to the taste. That's it. Number four, cabbage can do wonders for you. So we know that cabbage is a good source of vitamin C, fiber, potassium, and many other nutrients. This very high fiber vegetable has the fewest calories and least fat when compared with any other vegetable. When you include cabbage in your daily diet, now take advantage of all its beneficial components, but also stop the sugar and carbs consumed by you and convert into fat. This one is done by the tartaric acid present in cabbage. It doesn't allow sugar and carbohydrates in your body to take form of fat, thus saving you from obesity. Either cook it, toss it in a salad, or have it raw, but include cabbage in at least one of your meals daily. 5. Ginger for weight loss. Everybody knows ginger is a common herb. There's some parts in Asia. Uh, is they're known to use that everyday spice for extensive use in culinary. So that's their purpose in Asia. In ancient medicine systems like traditional Chinese medicine, as well as Indian Ayurveda stream, use ginger for medicinal purposes. There's researchers who found a surprise that shown far more uses of ginger than traditional medicine. Why that is? Because ginger improves digestion by increasing the pH of the stomach and stimulating its digestive enzymes. This leads to quick absorption of essential nutrients and excretion of non-essential ones. This means ginger leads to an effective digestive system, leading to optimal use of energy. In short, it helps your body in using up the blood glucose and store fat efficiently. There's a Dutch study that's confirmed that ginger boosts your body's metabolic rate by up to 20%, and therefore is good remedy not only for treating obesity but Number 3, there's a study by New York Obesity Research Center and Columbia University. They said ginger promotes the feeling of satiety after eating. Satiety after eating. eating. Excuse me, satiety. I think that's what it is. Ginger helps with weight loss, increases the feeling of fullness after a meal. So what you would ginger daily before meals, or you can make a ginger tea and have it daily after meals. If you don't know how to make ginger tea, ginger powder, half teaspoon, just a pinch of fresh ginger root. Have a cup of water. Of course, it should be hot or lukewarm. Okay. Well, okay. So I said curry stimulates the digestive enzymes to help break food more easily, having efficient use of nutrients, and it's a good metabolic rate when having curry. When you chew these curry, about 8 to 10 on an empty stomach every day for at least 3. Let this stuff work in months. Again, I mean, with all these remedies, you gotta give it time. That's the whole point of this overall article. So just keep that in mind, people. Don't think this stuff gonna happen overnight. Number 7, minty fresh weighted kilograms. Mint leaves have been recommended as an obesity cure for okay, I'm gonna need for Wi-Fi to stop tripping. I'm trying to give out some wealthy information. Don't want to cut up.
Absolutely. Right.
Now, come
Right.
on now. All right. So what was I saying? Oh, I said something about the mint leaves. So
Mm-hmm.
you have one bunch of mint leaves, one tomato, one green chili, salt as per taste. Okay. We don't want to get too crazy with the salt. Curl the leaves. Curl the leaves are optional. If you want to put that in there, if you do, have 2 to 3 tablespoons. Some people find mint to be better. So if you want to add mint and add coriander leaves as a combination to avoid the bitter taste, go right ahead. So you wash the mints properly, you chop up the tomato and the chili, and you mix all those ingredients with the mint leaves, tomato, salt, and green chili, as well as coriander leaves if using. You grind it to its chutney, to its formed as a chutney. It will look like green paste basically, and then you don't add any water. Uh, you don't need to add any water as mint leaves, as well as tomato contain enough water to give you the right consistency of chutney. Then they have a 3 combined herb, which is trifla. Triphala. So triphala is a combination of three herbs: amalaka, amalaki, horitaki, and bibhataki. These are sometimes called superfoods due to their excellent components and nutrients. Amalaki is a natural antioxidant and helps you remove inflammation of your body as well as maintain healthy blood sugar levels. Haritaki works by naturally cleansing your colon by gently removing all toxins from there. Bibhataki is the wonder herb that reduces the accumulation of fat and fluids in your body. However, they all work tremendously well when combined with each other to form triphala, Sanskrit term meaning three fruits. You can get the powder from any health store that sells any kind of Ayurvedic herbs. So it helps with weight loss. The recipe for that, you're gonna need triphala powder, which triphala powder is a combination of all three herbs I just said, fruits, 1/2 teaspoon of that. Then your psyllium husk, use the one without any color or flavor. So use the one without the color flavor, that's 1 teaspoon. Your flaxseed powder, 1 tablespoon. Warm water, 1/2 cup. You add the ingredients, which is the triphala, the psyllium fiber, and flaxseed in warm water. You mix it. You have this every day, preferably at night before going to bed. And those prone to lose motions may omit psyllium fiber. However, it is a great remedy for constipation as well. Let's see. Let me make sure. Okay. All right. So I would just say these last ones. I'll just go ahead and say that. All right. Here I am. So they have the spicy way. They have. All right. You got kidney beans. You got some other spicy ways you can reduce obesity. You can drink oolong tea to burn fat. You can take cinnamon honey water to burn fat. Your kalanji nigella seeds to lose belly fat. So if you want to read the rest on what I said, I won't read no more. Go to rapidhomeremedies.com. And these last two, these are just, I just want to take certain little parts out of these two articles. I don't want to read everything. All I want to say is prevention of obesity. All I'm going to say is you limit your unhealthy foods. So you got to chill out on eating the bad foods, okay? Any refined grains and sweets, potatoes, red meat, processed meat, beverages, sugary drinks, limit that. Increasing physical activity, limiting television time, screen time, and other sit time. Because if you're sitting and you're not burning any kind of energy or fat, that's how you can gain weight as well. Improve your sleep. Please get sleep. That's good for the body anyway. You must get sleep. And you got to reduce stress because stress can bring on a lot of things, and that includes becoming fat as well. And that's coming from hsph.harvard.edu. And then the last one will be from CDC. Again, eliminating them unhealthy foods, but you want to choose a plate that's a healthy way of eating. So that's the key factor to keeping a healthy weight. So they pretty much talk about that. They have something where it says choose my plate on here on their site. So you have a nutritional information on foods. It tracks your calorie intake, planned meals, and you can find healthy recipes. It talks about the physical activity basics. It gives you different kinds of physical activity and guidelines for the amount needed each day. And even if you have children who suffer with childhood obesity, they have tips for parents who are serious about childhood obesity and how can it help your child establish healthy behaviors. You got to assess your weight. BMI, I heard Jay mention BMI like a so many times. I just heard you say it quite a few times.
Body mass index.
Body mass in short circumference are two screening tools to estimate weight status and potential disease risk. So that's pretty much it. So those are preventions and strategies and remedies to prevent not just childhood obesity, but adult obesity.
Interesting,
Yeah,
interesting.
I
You
know
learn.
that was a lot,
No,
but
no, no. That's fine. It's a good wealth of information. Absolutely. Like we have to just plug this into your ears. Even if we are saying similar or the exact thing, it's just making sure that you guys get this, obtain this knowledge because it's important. It's very important and interesting to me as well. It just reminds me to keep me on my toes on what I need to do to get to where I need to get to as far as my weight goal. So I will speak on some other options, and then I'm pretty much done with this. Having holistic weight loss. So there are different numbers of holistic weight loss that goes from positive messages, where it's tempting to turn food and your relationship to it into an enemy. Many of us, often as a result of childhood and environment, punish ourselves for our food choices or use food as a means of self control. Oftentimes, this only reinforces a weight problem, making it even more difficult and intractable. People whose parents use food as a means of control to instill a certain discipline, like for example, or redirect a child's behavior, are more likely to or most are more likely to be obese as adults. Next, we have meditation. I've talked about meditation so much, especially on my Aisha Speaks Jade. I've spoke about it so much. It's mindfulness and meditation can be used in so many different techniques. So meditation is a helpful holistic technique across the board. It helps practitioners to acquire greater mindfulness of their feelings and thoughts, becoming cognizant, of emotions they've never noticed before. Meditation can, for example, help binge eaters become aware of how they use food to deal with problematic emotions. It can also help them notice when they're actually hungry and when they're full. Both of these work together to address the underlying causes of overeating. Psychotherapy. This therapeutic discipline helps problem eaters modify their behavior, less concerned with finding underlying causes for behavior, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, short for CBT. Cat Boy Toy is about learning how to alter one's behavior to achieve a specific goal, such as weight loss. um, Self monitoring, keeping a journal, and engaging in other self monitoring techniques help make you more aware of what you're eating and why. Sometimes merely seeing a list of everything you consume throughout the course of the day can help you to avoid trips to the kitchen. More fundamentally, reflecting on the emotions, drives, and outcomes associated with your diet and exercise can help shed light on an otherwise visceral and often unimaginable struggle. Next is visualization. No one loses weight just by sitting around and thinking about it, but visualization can make it easier to keep your eye on the prize. Time spent visualizing what you will look like and how you will feel with less weight can help remind you why you are doing this in the first place. It can also help you imagine the behavior and lifestyle choices necessary for successful weight loss. The next one is exercise. Physical activity in conjunction with a sound diet is core component of holistic weight loss. Next is tailoring and connecting. Finally, in the spirit, like there's not a right or wrong. When you visualize the behaviors and results that resonate uniquely with you. Remember, this is about you guys. When you exercise, choose effective routines that you yourself can enjoy. So across the board, embrace yourself as the owner and the subject of your weight loss routine and make sound decisions accordingly. That will make all the difference in a successful weight loss strategy. And finally, with this, there's also um, there's some things that sabotage your weight loss, such as being sleep deprived. People are most likely to overeat. Sleep deprivation affects hormones that regulate appetite and satiety, which leads to overcoming and poor food choices. You have lack of sleep can make you crave unhealthy foods. Also, sleep can change your appetite levels through insulin regulations. Some people can struggle with self control. Sleep is in out. So there's a wealth of information like, what should you do about it? So you can get up at the same time each day so your body can get into a rhythm. Bed as a hangout spot. Try to avoid getting ready to wind down. Unplug. I know I am guilty of laying in the bed on my phone, and looking through social media, and my eyes be burning. So a mind frame to unplug our phones, our tablets, at least for 30 minutes to sleep. I keep saying that I'm going to put on, like, if you do YouTube, which is my firstborn child, my kids don't even know it, but it's my firstborn social media child. YouTube has a wealth of information. There's no reason why we should be slow to stuff. They have those videos where it just makes sounds like water sounds, or birds or whatever. It's like their relaxation tools that can help you if you're struggling with sleep. I know that they have teas that can do it, of course, pills and different essential oils and things like that. So if one doesn't work, maybe try another, or perhaps have a little combination of them. But get into a bedtime routine, which I know I'm off. I have to be honest. My bedtime routine is off, and it's been off for many years due to my PTSD. So, but not making excuses. I can change it. Just small tasks. Small tasks. Start off small. So keep phones and other connected devices out of the bedroom. I just said that, or at least across the room. Avoid heavy meals close to bedtime. I know some of you guys won't admit it, but I will for myself. I have eaten dinner late. That is not good. We can get into the habit of eating and then we automatically lay down. Not good at all. So exercise, but don't do it right before bed. Like at least, I don't know, 2 hours or 3 hours before. Like don't exercise. Don't get into a heavy exercise routine. So if you're having racing thoughts, don't just hang out with them. Get up and write them down. Then do something relaxing to distract your mind while your body's fatigue takes over.
Awesome.
So awesome. And
All right.
you know that Uno will post all of the articles up, even the ones that we have not read, they'll be posted. So there'll be several links, no excuses for you to get on there. If it doesn't apply to you, help somebody that it does apply to.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Absolutely.
seriously, sharing is caring, knowledge is power, power is knowledge. Share it. Tell
Mm-hmm.
somebody. You can save somebody's life.
Absolutely. You never know. Never know. All right. So we're gonna go on to our next topic. So the topic will be about whitewashing of black music. I wanted to read an article that tackles, well, first of all, because this is a very tricky, complex subject, because you have to tackle for so many, or attack it from so many angles. The first thing that the white supremacy in the music industry has to do with this, is to destroy music first before they can even whitewash it. So it has to be infiltrated, and then once it's infiltrated, then they can whitewash it with white artists and white musicians as the pinnacle, the chosen one, the king or queen of that genre, the overall seer of that genre. But I wanted to use hip hop as an example of that. I have to first get into destroying hip hop first before I can even get into whitewashing, because let's keep in mind, while whitewashing in hip hop didn't come until later. But something had to be implemented first for whitewashing to even take place. So with that being said, I have an article coming from Hip Hop is Red. It's really read. HipHopIsRead.com. Now, this is titled, y'all, The Secret Meeting That Changed Rap Music and Destroyed a Generation. Now, before I get into this article, I want to say whitewashing of black music that includes blues, country, jazz, rock and roll, or they shorten it to rock, uh, any other genre. So yeah, the main ones definitely is jazz, blues, country, and rock, or rock and roll. And then hip hop is to a degree kind of getting whitewashed, but not to a full degree yet. It hasn't become a white genre yet. All right, now I'm going to read this anonymous letter, okay? This is how it goes. Hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I simply decided to leave out names and all the details that may risk my personal and well-being, and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker, quote unquote, with one of the more established company in the music industry. I came from Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then. Since technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today, the industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them in any way it wanted. This may explain why in early 1991, I was invited to attend a closed door meeting with a small group of business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practice I've ever seen. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, mostly familiar faces, speaking to the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be in our industry. A casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement, preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued and in some cases disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long but very clear on the matter, and consequences which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was a part of the wow, I slipped and said Illuminati. Must be a reason. A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected the agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of the industry colleagues who shall remain nameless, like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we have achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers, quote unquote. The subject quickly changed as we went on to tell the companies we are active involvement. He explained that the companies before had invested millions in the building prisons, and that our position in the industry would actually impact. I remember many of us in the group immediately looked at each other in confusion. I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told that these prisons were built by companies who received from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government will pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, silent investors in prison businesses, it was now in their interest to make music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies, and as an employee, we'd all room you could have. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half of the people who my days was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" Removed him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of the important this is where I swear this Wi-Fi is not cooperating tonight.
It
Okay.
loves doing this to us, doesn't it?
Woo! I'm trying to bear through it though. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the men who were part of the unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted out and attempted to remove him from the house. In case y'all didn't catch that part, there was a guy that pulled out a gun. So they had to remove him. All right, back to the article. I mean, the letter. They separated us from the crowd, and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague, who had opened the meeting earlier, hurried out to meet us and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking about this publicly or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why he was involved with something this corrupt, and he replied that it was bigger than the music business and nothing we want to challenge without risking consequences. We all protested, and as he walked back into the house, I remember word for word the last thing he said. It's out of my hands now. Remember, you signed an agreement. He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove off. A million things were going through my mind as I drove away. and I eventually decided to pull over and park on the side street in order to collect my thoughts. I replayed everything in my mind repeatedly, and all seemed very surreal to me. I was angry with myself for not having taken a more active role in questioning what had been presented to us. I like to believe the shock of it all is what suspended my better nature. Okay. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to calm myself enough to make it home. I didn't talk or call anyone that night. Where we at? The next day, back at the office, I was visibly out of it, but blended. I thought about contacting the kicked out of the house, but I didn't remember their names and thought that tracking them down would probably bring unwanted attention. Speaking out publicly risk of losing my job, but I realized I'd probably be jeopardizing more than my job, and I wasn't willing to risk anything. Risk anything happening to my family. I thought about those men with guns and wondered who they were. I had been told that this was bigger than the music business, and all I could do was let my imagination run free. There were no answers and no one to talk to. I tried to do a little bit of research on private prisons, but didn't uncover anything about the music business involvement. However, the information I did find confirmed how dangerous this prison business really was. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. Eventually, it was as if the meeting had never taken place. It all seemed surreal. I became more reclusive and stopped going to any industry events unless professionally obligated to do so. On two occasions, I found myself attending the same function as my former colleague. Both times, our eyes met, but nothing more was exchanged. Two more paragraphs here. They're not big like the other one. As the months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it, but even I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was as if the order has been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies when more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line. Everyone bought into it, consumers included. Violence and drug use became a central theme in most rap music. I spoke to a few of my peers in the industry to get their opinions on the new trend, but was told repeatedly that it was all about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. Lastly, I officially quit the music business in 1993, but my heart had already left months before. I spent the last few years and removed myself from everything I had once loved. I took some time off, returned to Europe for a few years, settled out of state, and lived in a world of entertainment. As the years passed, I became increasingly ashamed of not having had the balls to blow the whistle. But as rap got worse, my guilt grew. Fortunately, in the late 90s, having the internet as a resource which wasn't at my disposal in the early days made it easier for me to investigate what is now labeled the prison industrial complex. Now that I have a greater understanding of how private prisons operate, things make things make much sense than they ever have. I see how the criminalization of rap music played a big part in promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors, which often led to incarceration. 20 years of guilt is a heavy load to carry, but the least I can do is share my story, hoping that fans of rap music realize how they've been used for the past 2 decades. Although I plan on remaining anonymous for obvious reasons, my goal now is to get this information out to as many people as possible. Please help me spread the word. Hopefully, others who attended the meeting back in 1991 will be inspired by this and tell their own stories. Most importantly, if only one life has been touched by my story, I pray it makes the weight of my guilt a little bit more tolerable. Thank you.
Hmm. Interesting. And where was that coming from?
This was coming from hiphopisread.com. I do have something related to that that
Mm-hmm.
kind of ties into it, like the secret relationship between the Jews and rappers. Because I want to tie that in with this. Because that I I'm saying that because yes, the Jews who were empowering the industry at that time and even now, yes, they got control of it, which shouldn't have happened. But whose fault was that they was allowed to have control? The blacks had to give them control. So, in essence, it's our fault too, not just these white men who had this disdain for rap music. So let me read that part. Where is that at? Here it is. I got it. This is coming from finalcall.com. If y'all know what Final Call is, that's NOI Nation Islam website. All right. This was published in 2012. See, and the one I just read was from 2012, but I think that was then. I could be wrong, but because I think I've seen it before 2012. But this article from Final Calls 2012. This is a short article. It's not like long, like super long. Okay, the secret relationship between rappers and Jews. Hip hop is an art form and a culture is hands down one of the most powerful international social forces in the history of the world. There's no nation on earth where its footprints cannot be found. Rap artists who create the soundtrack that fuels hip hop culture becomes equally influential. They determine trends and the general course of youth culture globally. Yet while it appears these artists who often peddle images of invincibility are in control of hip hop, you must look deeper to see who may be in control of them. Rap artist Jay Z and his business partner David Dash built a hip hop powerhouse called Rockefeller Records. It was a black owned record label that produced millions of sales. As is often the case, these two brothers reportedly had personal and business disagreements and decided to part ways. Legend has it that a Def Jam Records executive by the name of Lyre Cohen played the role of instigator, negotiator, and cleanup businessman. What is clear is that Rockefeller Records, once known as the Dynasty, is now owned by Def Jam. Cohen happens to be Jewish. In the late 80s, so-called gangster rap took the nation by storm when a young black entrepreneur named Eric Wright, aka Eazy-E, assembled some of the finest talent to be found in the Los Angeles/Compton area to form the legendary collective NWA. The group captured an untapped market selling millions of albums with no commercial radio play. These record sales did wonders to fill the car for Ruthless Records, which was owned by Wright, who took on a partner by Heller. Heller was a veteran music executive who once represented artists like Marvin Gaye. The group's most creative geniuses, Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, eventually left the group, citing unfair compensation. Accusations flew that Easy conspired with Heller to rob the other members of royalties that were rightfully theirs. Heller happens to be Jewish. It should be noted that Ice Cube later made a song threatening Heller, the ADL, Jewish Anti-Defamation League, labeled it anti-Semitic. Dr. Dre left Ruthless Records and went to Death Row Records, a boutique subsidiary of Interscope Records. Death Row, which was owned by a black man by the name of Suge Knight, built an impressive roster of talented artists and dominated the charts, selling millions of records, generating hundreds of millions of revenue. Again, disagreements between the two brothers ended in a parting of ways. Dr. Dre walked away from Death Row Records, who at the time had acquired the legendary Tupac Shakur. After selling millions on Death Row/Interscope, Tupac was murdered. A series of personal and professional misfortune landed Knight in prison, and the house that he and Dre built ended up in the hands Interscope. Interscope is owned by a man by the name of Jimmy Iovine. Mr. Iovine happens to be Jewish. Before this gets monotonous, let me say that the three aforementioned cases are about substantive as the teardrop in the Pacific Ocean when compared to the decades of draconian record contracts usually enslaved entertainers and entertainment executives who happen to be Jewish. hegemony in the music world is about as American as apple pie. That the second language of the music business is Yiddish. Truth be told, the black Jewish relationship in the music industry whole in the rock/Jewish relationships in general. Some of our great icons such as Samuel, Billie Holiday, Little Richard, list goes on, live rich yet die broke while Jewish managers, accountants, attorneys, business advisors, and others fed their families for years off of their largest. Few entertainers in the history of Black America have their assets and true network were as prominent as their talent and popularity. Sadly, hip and while it's produced a handful of millionaires, they're like a teardrop in the Pacific Ocean when compared to the millions most black people are living show to show in shape. So see that it's funny. I said it accident, but it's probably I probably didn't mean even say it by accident, but it came out that way because in one part of this story it says there's only one solution to this problem. I recently heard that many accused rappers Kanye West, being they need to start something similar. Artists need to convene a private meeting of some sort to determine the best way to charter so that our personal disagreements don't leave black-owned companies like Rockefeller Records in the hands of cleanup men. Then some of artists believe could hold enough weight to make these crooked executives bend to his collective will. So the solution to this problem is selflessness. The key word, I want to say selflessness, because why they got full control of hip hop now. I'm talking about these rich Jews, these crooked rich Jews with these damn millions of dollar revenue making record companies. Because black people started going into the industry for themselves. They're not thinking about their own, they're thinking about themselves just to have money and success and fame. That's where it went left. Because hip hop wasn't even built on that, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, anyways, unity, organization, fearlessness, selflessness, and the desire to free the art form and its culture from the control of outside forces. Because if you don't, this is what happens. You have whitewashing of black culture, and they take over everything, not just from the artistry, but to the financial part of the music industry, where they're owning the companies, are owning your music, they're owning how you market yourself, everything. For you know, if black people ain't careful, it's gonna be a white, it's gonna be a white giant. I'm not gonna read no more, but y'all pretty much got the gist of the article. I want to just tie that into what I from the first article I read. What do you think about all that?
I think I'm in pain right now because I'm using my mouth way too much, and I actually honestly hurt. But um, I mean, I agree. If you don't watch out, it's going to be full control. They're gonna have every genre that there is, and it's not about being racist. It's about just being honest, especially seeing what's going on. I'm not saying that white people don't have talent. I'm not saying that at all.
Nobody.
But you're seeing I'm seeing them do a
check on things. Like if you're not unified, if you're not organized, if you can't put aside your differences, if you can't be self back, then yes, that would happen. Because when these black artists get nothing wrong with a enjoy the music that black people build,
But they
and
can't take control over it.
but yeah, they created. So yeah, I mean, you're right. You have to be mindful of a lot of things. I mean, because I see time and time again I don't take away from white artists. There's some talented white artists, but I don't think they better than the original man who created it. Um, and I think a lot of times when black folks we co-sign white artists, they get up in their heads, they get big headed. They feel themselves a little too much. Then they get disrespectful. They go overboard. So you get, and that's when black people have to come in and check that. And they should have done that when these white Jewish executives came in. They should have kicked them to the curb. They shouldn't have allowed that to even happen at all. And it shouldn't even been no secret meeting. It shouldn't even been any rapper conversing anything with any white executive because they should have known what their agenda was going to be when in the first place when the white Jewish executive stepped to them. That should have just kept it as a culture where it started from. I mean, I do understand, if you have talent or something, you do want to make good use of it. You want to see the fruits of your labor from it. I get that. Well, I'm saying, but at what expense though? And that's where black people mess up at. That's where the problem came in. Because now people's getting, Negroes got greedy. And then once they got greedy and started thinking for themselves and not thinking about nobody else, that's when everybody can come in and do whatever they want. Because black artists allow them to do what they want. And that applies to country music, blues, jazz, all across the board, rock and roll, everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see many times again in those genres. I'm gonna speak on those. The hip hop is a whole nother thing, but when you talk about rock and roll, I mean, you have Elvis. I mean, you have Eric Clapton. You have so many, older artists who's borrowed many ideas and styles from black artists and claimed it as their own, as if they made it or they're better than to the men before them that paved the way for them to even be an artist, to be in their lane. And everybody knows Elvis Presley's story. He's a racist guy. He was a racist guy. He didn't have respect for black people, but he took our damn style though. He took black people's style though and ran with it. And what made it worse, the machine was behind him, so they was gonna back him because he was a white man. He was privileged. They was gonna put him on a pedestal as opposed to a Chuck Berry or Little Richard.
Mm-hmm.
And that same thing applies to Eminem. I mean, hey, is it sound racist to everybody else, but hey, it's just the truth. Like even with Eminem, they put him on a pedestal. They did the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with Iggy Azalea. I mean, Vanilla Ice did the same thing. The list goes on. Justin Timberlake, they try to put him in the same breath as Michael
As
Jackson,
Michael Jackson.
and you talk about disrespect. You shitting on this man. This you talking about? You put him in the same category as the king of pop. Are you serious?
Right. Someone who's iconic.
Right. There's no comparison there. You're trying, like, yeah. So I see the whitewashing. I see it. They're slowly trying to do it. I mean, now you got the same thing. Now you got, what's that guy name? I mean, you got G Easy. You got what's the other white guy? That other white rapper name?
Macklemore.
Macklemore. But there's another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I shoot. He's a big one too. I think he's from. I know he rock his hair long and he keep it braided. What's his name? Not Macklemore. It's another guy. What is his name? He's current out too. He got golds in his mouth. What's his name? Godly. I can't remember the guy's name, but I mean it's the same thing. You know. Even what's that guy? What's the other guy's name? Uh he sounds like Ghostface Killer. I forgot his name. I'm forgetting the white rappers' names, but yeah, it's just a consistency of whitewashing, and I mean, but then it is black people's fault at the same time because they're not the backbone to stand up for what we've created and built, and we just letting it all go away slowly. I mean, that's just what it is.
Young Gerald. Is that him?
Young Gerald?
Mm.
No, not Young Gerald. He's a current white rapper.
Mm.
He's a current one right now, winning an
Who's
award.
MGK?
Well, not what I mean. Y'all
Mac
know,
Miller.
not Mac Miller and GK. All of they dope. They dope artists, but no, not him.
Yellow Wolf.
Not him.
Little Dicky.
Not Lil Dicky. I know who they are, but not them. Who else is up there? Cause they missing somebody. That's the one. Okay, Action Bronson. That's the guy that sound like Ghostface Killer. Cause you remember, I don't know if you remember that story. The Wu Tang had to check him because he was being disrespectful towards the Wu Tang. But not Action Bronson. It was. Oh man, they don't got him on the list. It's a current guy. Cause I think Nicki Minaj said something about him. Him, Post Malone, that guy. So yeah, they have Post Malone on a pedestal at this current moment. They have G-Eazy at the pedestal at this current moment. Eminem is always going to be the as what the white people of the industry say, he's the rap Elvis. The rap god Elvis of hip hop. They label him that. We didn't label him that, but the industry labeled him that. The Jewish industry did.
All I can do is shake my head as I'm in pain right now. I'm hurting. I actually have to wrap it up. But yeah, I mean, you can keep going. I actually have to wrap it up. I'm using my mouth more, like a lot, and it's hurting. So if you ever been through mouth pain, dental pain, abscess, it's really hurting right now. Good people. That's why I'm kind of chill in the back, but yeah, it's if we as our black and brown brothers and sisters don't watch out, the bottom line is it's going to be a takeover. And we can't be mad at nobody except for ourselves.
Right, because we sold the genre out to white Jewish executives.
That's and our music, no disrespect, again, reiterating, our music goes way back, people. Way back. Doo-wops, blues, jazz, country, R&B,
rock and roll,
right? It just
that whole thing is whitewashed. Rock and roll. What black rock artists do you see? Because I don't see none one in there. I just see white rock artists,
They're very much underground.
and then if they
A lot
are,
of them are underground.
a lot of them are even not even allowed to be as big as the
Mm-mm,
white rock artists.
mm-mm.
They get ostracized and talked about and judged for being a black rock artist.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I will put in the shameless plug quickly when we were talking about the obesity and the overweight and the different choices and or alternatives you have to becoming healthier and happier and all of that good stuff. Let me put in my shameless. We do have an online health dispensary store that has 100% organic essential oils as well as CBD hemp without the high, good people. I do not sell cannabis. It is illegal, but hemp is not illegal. CBD hemp is not illegal and it does not get you high. So if you want an alternative to what you may already be doing, or if you just want to go straight essential oils or CBD hemp, again, without the high, please check out my online business. It is called Life's Total Wellness healthyplacebotanicals.com. Again, that is Life's LIFES Total TOTAL Wellness WellnessWellnessPlaceBotanicals.com. Check me out. If you're interested in being part of offline, my best to answer any and all questions. Again, is 100% organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan. Okay, so organic, 100% organic. So just please just check my page, check my website out, see what I'm about. Would love to have you also on calls. All the calls are wonderful. I particularly like the Tuesday and the Thursday calls. But again, all of them are very good. So thank you guys. I actually have to get off. I'm in a lot of pain right now. So
Well, I'm getting off with you because
you are
I don't want to do the show by myself, and this gonna be
a continuation.
yes, this is gonna have to be a part two because I
Absolutely.
don't want to just end it with this.
No,
Like
no,
it
no,
needs to
no.
be,
So talk about
it
it.
needs
I'm
to be full in depth, and I don't want to just leave off like this.
so go right ahead
But
by all
I don't
means.
want to. I want to do a continuation.
Okay. Well, my apologies for having pain, but I'm in pain,
Yes,
and so I
it's time to chill out.
need to take a pain pill. I'm in pain,
No, it's
people.
time to chill out. Period. How about that? So we will wrap this up right now. The only thing I'm just gonna say is just check out our website www.chitchatchushow.com. Check out our Facebook, Chit Chat Chew Show, LC. Like our Facebook. Like us on Instagram, Chit Chat Chew Show Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, and share on YouTube, Chit Chat Chew Show Podcast. Hit the bell for notifications. Check us out on Twitter at is CCCS underscore podcast. Again, at CCCS underscore podcast. Follow us on Twitter. Uh, what am I missing? I think I said everything just for that because those are our main pages that are active at this moment. So I will leave it at that.
Okay. Also, our website, www.chitchatchewshow.com. Again, www.chitchatchewshow.com. We really appreciate it. We will have a follow up and a continuation on this because it's very, again, another necessary thing to know. It may make some people feel uncomfortable, or some may say, oh, it's racist. It is not, it's just truth.
The reality is the real. Is what it is.
I
We didn't
mean,
make this stuff up,
if you just Google it, honestly, just
man.
learn to keep an open mind to
I
things.
let people think they always think it's something racist. Let them think what they
Right.
want.
So they can, I mean, they
It's,
honestly can think if it's
it's not our
racist.
fault that them white folks took over. I mean, they had some disdain for hip hop, blues, rock, jazz, and everything else, and want to feel in control of every damn thing and took over our genres. That's not our. That's not our problem. They feel inferior. So now when we speak about it, because it's been documented through history and has been seen what has been done to each genre of music. Now we call racist, or anyone who speaks up about it, any black person that speaks up about it, they racist now. Everything has to be racist.
Mm.
But yeah, whatever. We can wrap it up.
Okay, with that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening or whatever time zone you're in. Enjoy the rest of your time. Have a better tomorrow, and we will see you next Monday.
Absolutely. And we will have a continuation. We're gonna go more full in depth about this conversation. So make sure you be looking out for our continuation show. Have a blessed night. Peace out.
Peace.